Elephants have been here. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a windy Rietspruit Game Reserve. I was just checking the direction of elephant tracks and they look like they went that way. Into the thick stuff, which we're getting used to. If you don't know me, I'm Gareth. Behind camera today, I have Basil, and in FC we have Victoria. Pretty similar to yesterday afternoon's drive, if you were with us. The day started off pretty warm, and around 2:30, 3 o'clock it started to get darker. And the clouds have rolled in. The clouds have rolled in and the wind has picked up in the last half an hour or so, which is always lovely for game drive. Afternoon, not sure how many leadwood stations are on Blowbank. There are 2 male cheetahs around in Mpumalanga Link on Kaya, and I think 4 white rhinos on Giraffe somewhere on Kaya as well. That's a nice hole in the side of the termite mound there. So yeah, it's a bit windy.
Maybe just somebody else know how many meter stations on Blowbank.
And we'll see if we can find anything. In these windy conditions, it's often a situation where everybody sort of tries to huddle themselves away from the wind so they can hear better. Haven't been down this route for a while. We're on Bushveld. And we're going to go across to Leopard Dam, see if there's anything there, go up the Sunsloot River to Kudu, go past the area that we were yesterday. I will get into that and give you an update shortly. And then maybe check Seskant Krip, follow the water. Because while animals might hide from us in general with the wind, they still need to drink, and they are creatures of habit. Okay, Basil, straight. That's Diker. Eastervark. Oh, learning how to drive around without a map. Alright, so last night after I cut the stream with the lightning and thunder all around us, we raced back to camp, Basil and myself. And as we got to camp into the garage and then into the house a couple of minutes later, having packed the car up, it came down for all of 30 seconds. We had half a mil of rain, but we had all of the lightning. So last night's storm was all talk, no action. The bush needs the rain. We're hoping to get a bit more than half a mil. Nobody's driven this road today. I can see where all the raindrops were falling on the ground. But it was a pretty impressive electrical storm last night. And it just passed straight north over us and just continued. Which is often what happens this time of the year. These build-ups. And that storm unfortunately cut our search of that drag mark short. But this morning it wasn't raining, so Victoria and I headed out early. We went to the scene of the crime. And because there was a little bit of rain, we couldn't really find the drag mark anymore, other than where I had seen it yesterday. But we walked in that area and we ended up managing to find the remains of an impala kill in a thicket, and all 4 legs were there, the pelvis, skull, and let's check these tracks. Looks like some monkeys were wandering around here, and it was pretty much finished, which I was quite surprised by. But it was a young impala, so it's one of these yearlings, not a lot left of it. And I wonder, a full day maybe the leopard had finished it. I'm still convinced it was a leopard. There was lots of fur that had been plucked out of the carcass around it. And then we thought maybe it had dragged more of it off, but on closer inspection on the carcass when we came back, there was 4 legs, which means there was nothing left to be dragged away. There was a bit of meat on it, so that's why I want to go past there this afternoon in case the individual responsible is still around there. And I have reason to believe it is. We did have female leopard tracks, potentially male leopard tracks going up Seskant towards Seskant Krip. And then we had fresh female leopard tracks on Kudu Pat Noort, just south of the area that we had that carcass yesterday, or that drag mark yesterday, and then found the carcass, and squirrels alarm calling in the Sunsloot. So we drove around the Sunsloot, up and down. Victoria and I drove up the Sunsloot and then back down the Sunsloot. And there were fresh female leopard tracks in there. So I think whoever it is doesn't want to be seen. There's some monkeys, the usual troop, the leopard dam troop of vervet monkeys. We'll go around and put them on camera. They're often good entertainment. And then I'll stop and have a look at who's joining us this afternoon. We were so tantalizingly close this morning to finding that leopard. Being tested on our patience. Working on our patience for leopard viewing here on the Rietspruit, but we know they're there. We've found drag marks, we've had tracks, we've heard them calling, found the kills on a couple of occasions. Off runs a duiker. There's a monkey. We'll see. They should settle. Actually, let me just stop here where they're sitting on the edge of the water there. Leopard Dam still has a little bit of water, which is nice to see and nice to know. Here's our usual Leopard Dam troop. The wind is picking up now that we sort of turn to face the dam. All right, to our viewers, our pack members, welcome. Jennifer, Barbara, Brian, Rosemary, Willow, Christine, Becky, Carol, Jan, Ula, hello, welcome. You do need to tell us about your trip to Botswana and South Africa. Hope you had a good one. Have I missed anybody? I'm still going down. Alex, Misguided Guide, welcome to this afternoon's drive. Mom Ruth, welcome. Have I missed anybody? Let me scroll back up. Nope, that looks like it's everybody. Let me check if there's any questions. Doesn't look like I've missed anybody. If I have, I apologize. Do let me know. What are these monkeys up to? Having a drink, look at that, that's cool. What is in front of it? There's a little bird in front of the monkey there, a three-banded plover in the middle of the mud. The monkey's coming down for a late afternoon drink before they move to their roosting spot. I'm sure this troop roosts in the drainage line beyond the dam wall there, because they're quite often here at this time of day, so it's probably one of their sort of rituals. Wake up in the morning, groom, socialize, maybe have a morning drink, go off foraging for the day, and then come here for an evening drink before going to their trees that they prefer to roost in. And I'm sure along the river here, is this the start of the sun slit maybe? Let me have a quick look. It might be. It just probably is. It looks like it is at least a drainage line into the sun slit. I would say it probably is the sun slit because of the inlet here. So along the rivers here, especially the sun slit, deep slit, when you get up onto the Leadwood, the Rietspruit, the bigger trees that line these riverbanks are ideal homes for the vervet monkeys. And ideal for them in general because they often are fruiting trees. So when they do fruit, the monkeys will wander up and down the drainage line, picking up all the fruits. I'm sure they're pretty excited for the rains to come back. Some of the trees come into flower. Something I haven't seen here is a sausage tree. Do you know of any sausage trees on the Rietspruit?
I don't even know. Oh yeah, I've been seeing a sausage tree.
I haven't seen one here. I used to have one outside my room when I worked at Mala, and you'd see the vervet monkeys coming in there when they flower, stuffing their face into the flowers to get to the big nectar, and they'd come out with their faces absolutely covered in pollen. They were quite funny to observe when they were doing that. The lions were at Camp Cam last night. We didn't even know. We didn't even know.
Do you know what time they came?
So I don't know if they are all back together, Carol. The two cheetahs are still on Kaya. And I haven't seen an update today on where the lions are. One male was on Leadwood last night in one of the houses, not in one of the houses, at one of the houses, moving south, so maybe. But there were lion tracks going down Hoofbutt towards camp this morning when we left camp, but we had other things on our mind and to-do list. Oh, there's some kudus drinking, that's nice. That's very cool. Grey heron on the other side. Let's see, we get those kudu on the other side. It's very pretty. Is there a young male? Looks like there's a young male there, yep. So sort of around that year mark with two females. I'm sure one of them is likely his mum.
these stations run mobile on trial.
Yeah, Carol, I haven't seen updates on my groups.
Currently, only one major station on Blowbank. It keeps us on the kind over Southern Fence.
Unfortunately.
And then there was a Rhino sighting also on the Zebra North, if I'm not mistaken. You can just double. But there was a white Rhino sighting.
Watch him as he walks, his back feet's exactly where his front feet were. Can anybody tell me what that is called? The technical terminology for that. You can see these kudus are a little bit skittish. They're jumping around a bit, not so sure. It's very windy. Their hearing will be compromised. They're at a water point, which is higher risk associated to it from predators. So they are quite wary and jumpy. One of the females just jumped back and has run off to the right, leaving these two by the water's edge. Trying to be vigilant. Maybe she's watching those monkeys at the moment. Having a browse, waiting for the other two to satisfy their thirst. It is really nice, Carol, to see the kudus out in the open. They're probably one of the antelopes that we see the least of, just due to the nature of the thick vegetation of the Rietspruit. We probably see and have duikers on camera more than we do kudus. I feel like one of these days we must just sit at a water point before all the rain comes. Oh, there's a monitor digging here. Can you see it there, Basil? You see between us and the water there's elephant dung.
Yeah.
If you go to the right of that elephant dung and sort of 3 meters, you see it. There looks like there is a water monitor lizard digging in the sand there.
I'm leaving the log of Chikangan southeast corner of Kayandovo. 55 visual.
I wonder what it's up to.
Open log. Stand by, go ahead.
Still digging away. Trying to figure out what it's actually doing, because oh, there's a duiker drinking now. Look on the left hand side. Let's quickly get a duiker there. We'll come back to this monitor. I'm just trying to think of all the possible reasons as to why it is digging here. There's the common duiker having a drink. Getting lots of little customers coming down here. Like I said, it'd be good to one evening just spend a whole afternoon sitting at a water point and see what comes along. We've had monkeys drinking, kudu drinking, duiker drinking. We've got a grey heron there. And then we've got this monitor lizard. Just go back to it. It might have made a kill. Oh, just missed it. It looked like it got something out of the burrow. Has it got something in its mouth there? It looks like its throat. Let's just focus on it while it's digging here, Basil. I was watching it as we were coming back towards it from that duiker and the grey heron, and it looked like it was thrashing something about. So this is what I was going to say. Nesting time for monitor lizards is generally in the summer months, October, November, December, January, maybe up to February, depending on conditions and rainfall and a whole variety of climatic conditions. But it would be quite odd for a monitor lizard to dig a burrow to lay her eggs here, because this is the inlet to the dam, and this is more than likely going to fill up beyond the point that it is digging. So the next thing is maybe it's digging for food, and I think that's probably more likely the case, because you often find monitor lizards will dig into termite mounds, especially rock monitors. They dig into termite mounds to lay their eggs in there, or they dig or use previously dug, just watching monkeys running around, burrows in the banks of rivers. That's probably your most common area, which is out of that water level. But I think here you've got a dam. The dam is going to slowly shrink, as we've seen since we've been here, Victoria and I, in the last 7 weeks. It's going to get lower and lower and lower. The water would have been where that monitor is, and as you get less and less water, you might get some species like terrapins, some species of frogs burying themselves into the soft sand as the water starts decreasing, and they put themselves into a state of torpor, estivation, which is a state where they can lower their body processes, their heartbeat, their metabolism, and they rest for the dry, harsh winter months. And you might find that this monitor lizard is digging there to get something that's done exactly that. There's still a lot of water here for something like a terrapin. I've seen terrapins where have I seen terrapins? I used to see them at Mamba Dam, I think, before it shriveled up to nothing. But maybe something like a frog. You get sand frogs that will bury themselves. So I think that's what this monitor lizard's doing. It's sort of hunting here. For those of you that don't know what estivation is, it's sort of like a state of dormancy that animals put themselves into, and it's often in southern Africa done to avoid dry conditions during our winter months. And similar to sort of hibernation, it's just done to conserve energy and body condition. you can imagine in a southern African context, which can get very dry, especially in drought periods, which we're said to be entering at the moment. Conserving water would be one of the animal's most fundamental requirements, and probably a good reason to estivate.
FC for terrace.
Let's go forward a bit and see if we can get a bit of a different angle. I'm not going to go too close to it, but we're going to kind of come up behind it and see if we can.
I am already on workshop as well.
Get an angle here. Oh. Oh, there's a bit of a lip from this side.
On that side?
Let's see. There's just a little bit of a lip. But let's try get there's some sort of fresh elephant dung here. Is that a better angle maybe? Let's have a look. That's better, Basil says. Let's zoom in. Still can't really see into the hole that it's digging. You know you're going into summer when you start seeing dragonflies on their water's edge. There's a couple of dragonflies flying around here. I don't want to take the camera off the monitor now because we might miss what it was up to earlier when we turned away. So the word, Carol, for what the Kudus were doing just now is called direct registering, where they put their back feet exactly where their front feet were, and that's to reduce the sound that they make through the bush. They can place their front feet with caution and care as to not disturb any leaf litter or crack a twig when moving through the thickets that may draw the attention of an unwanted predator. And then they can just put their back foot exactly where their front foot is, knowing, or was, knowing exactly, well, having the confidence that they're not going to make additional noise.
CJ for terrace. Torrance, confirm you're looking for CJ?
Not finding anything else in there like it had earlier. Basil's making this monitor lizard look massive with his camera. But it's not actually that long. It's probably 2.5 feet long. You'll see it when it goes behind the elephant dung. It's not the biggest of monitors. I've seen monitor lizards that are maybe 3 or 4 times bigger than that. That was pretty cool though. Got a black-backed puff-back. I like saying that. Black-back, puff-back. Try and say it really quickly, everybody at home. Black-back, puff-back. Get a bit tongue-twisted. Black-backed, puff-back. It's not a duff-back, it's a puff-back. When you start to try and say it too quickly, you're going to start saying duff-back. Got a nice clicking whistle call. Is it going to go in the water? let's see. You can just look while it's walking on the land there. It is getting closer to the water. If you look at how that tail is, it's almost flattened. If Basil goes back in. Oh, found something else to eat? No. Maybe thinking about having another dig there. But it's kind of vertically flattened to some extent, with a little bit of a ridge on the top of the tail there. Now you can imagine this is a water monitor. They do spend times in rivers and water sources like this dam swimming, and that tail in that kind of, look at it lifting its tail right up. That kind of vertical, flattened almost, would act as a really good swimming, I wouldn't say, well, rudder, direction, change direction, but could add a lot of power to their swim as they beat their tail from side to side. And then if it does start walking again, just have a look at the size of the claws on the end of the toes there. Really sharp for catching prey. And they do have webbed toes for swimming. Hello Di, welcome to this afternoon's drive. We're watching a water monitor or Nile monitor here. It was digging for something just now, but we missed what it caught. It's only a little one, but it's interesting watching it walking. It's lifting its tail right up. It's almost walking like you expect a leopard to walk, curling that white tipped tail over its back. Look at those claws and those back feet, absolutely massive. You don't want to get into a tussle with a monitor lizard. They'll whip you with that tail. Can leave actually quite bad welts, especially the bigger ones. But more so, they grip you with those claws, they'll rip you up. Gonna walk up into the vegetation line on the edge of the river here. Oh, gaining some speed. You can see the mountains there in the south. You can see the mountains in the north. Only just over the river or the dam and the tree line there. Not as dark as it was yesterday. And the wind seems to have slowed down a little bit, which is nice. It was howling when we started. Okay, let's carry on. That was a nice little sighting. We had the monkeys, the kudu, we got the grey heron there, 3-banded plover, the duiker came to drink, and a water monitor. Not something you get on camera all that often, so that's a nice change. We make our way up now towards where? Kudu Krip. Actually, I haven't been past there in a few days, so that's nice. Looking forward to what we find there. Often rhinos. And maybe we'll get our leopard that's been moving between there and Kudupat Noot, which is where we had that drag mark yesterday. Unfortunately, That carcass is finished, but maybe enough of a morsel for a leopard to be interested in going back to have a look. We did find it this morning. Anybody that's joining us late? And while we drive up there, yesterday when we were driving into that area, I was reminded now by the Rhino midden on the road, we had all of those guinea fowl. And I got a photograph of those guinea fowl. There's a young Kudu bull. That's the one that I think was drinking just now at the dam. And this week's key word is helmet. And if you are interested in getting your hands or your mouses on your computer on that image that is currently on screen that I took yesterday during drive, all you need to do, if you're a pack member, is send the keyword helmet for helmeted guinea fowl to info@paintedog.tv. So yeah, download that photograph of mine taken yesterday on drive with all of you and use it as a screensaver, print it, put it on your wall. I quite like the way it came out. And that's the first one I've contributed. Woohoo! A lot more to come with that. A lot more to come from where that came from. I'm speaking too quickly for my mind. Now you have all week to get your copy of that photograph until it changes on Monday next week. Has anybody got some suggestions as to what you would like up on your walls or on your computer screens for the week? Any ideas of a photo of the week or keyword of the week that you would like? Let me know so that we have a week to try and get a picture. I know last time I asked that question. Yeah, the last time I asked, we had a request for wild dogs, and we got that picture of the wild dogs feeding on a carcass that Andrew took. So we'll see if we can make anything happen. I like that. A photo of a leopard, we say miracle. I've got lots of photographs of leopards, but not from here. So maybe that is a challenge that's been put out. I think it would be cheating to post past photographs of leopards. We have to find Kudu Crypt 2-3 or anybody else, but I feel like she's the most likely. She's been seen the most since I've been here. Just see something on the edge of a road. On the other side is probably absolutely nothing, but let's have a quick look. Yep, it's a log. Classic. So we're going up to the pump house here. This is where the elephants broke the pipes a couple of weeks ago on a Friday. It's often on a Friday that animals do these things. The Ellies, they break the pipes here, and then for the weekend there's nobody to fix the pipes. So by Sunday afternoon the crips were really low. The reservoir in Lemondurian was quite low. But fortunately on Monday they were all fixed up and the animals had their water again, but just in there. It's quite far. 2 white rhinos have been found. We'll see if we can find our own. They're all the way near Lowveld of South Dam. We might have our work cut out for us this week as we try and get a leopard for next week's miracle. Keyword. Okay, is there anybody gonna be at Kudu Crip? Come on, Kudu Crip 2-3. Just driving here, nice. Sorry, excuse me. My throat's a bit tickly this morning. For those of you on the western part of the world, there's a duiker this afternoon. Oh, there's 2 rhinos, Kudu Crip, and there's some Impala. It's all happening. A duiker running away. Oh, it's a white rhino and her calf, which is quite nice. I'm just going to go at a bit of an angle here. Is it no hope? It is no hope. Look at it. Yeah. That's cool. No hope and her baby having a drink from Kudu Crip. About a week ago we had them here on an afternoon drive, and then the next night they were at Lodge Pan. They'd moved really far. I think in a straight line it was about 5 kilometers if I remember correctly. But how's this? Nice to see them. A little one. This little one's growing quite quickly, as little rhinos do.
Good afternoon, Steve getting mobile. There's a rhino port to the northern end of the dam at the wall.
Impalas walking in the bush behind them. They probably won't even see them now. This is quite typical of rhinos. Late afternoon, early evening, come and have a drink. It's one of their traits, and it's one of those behavioral factors that you take into account when looking for a certain animal. If you want to try and find rhinos, going to water in the late afternoon is one of your best bets in trying to find rhinos, and it paid off this afternoon.
I'd also like to respond about 5 minutes out.
It's a lot easier this time of the year when there's not a lot of surface water out here at the end of the dry season. Stations, there's a white rhino cow and calf at Kudu Crypt drinking. An aardvark, striped polecat, serval. My word. I've only ever seen 2 servals. Well, I've only ever had 2 serval sightings. I've never seen a striped polecat, other than on camera trap photographs. And I'm yet to see a leopard here. And I haven't seen an aardvark in, I don't know, probably a decade. But I like our odds. You got to put it out there, otherwise it's not going to happen. So, but yeah, look how big that baby's getting. It's awesome. Wonder if it's trying to suckle. Standing at the back there. Maybe. Mom's kind of not really having it though.
Jake's leaving the lock of these 2 rhino on Rietspruit, 1 station on lock and 1 approaching.
This baby's probably right at the time to get weaned from mom. Typically starts at about a year old, and judging by this little one's horn, I would say it's over a year old. Trying to find one of my little aids on my phone. To just get an aging class, but I would put this calf at sort of maybe an upper B class, which is around just over a year. I found my old notch pattern. But I can't find the aging one. I need to actually print that out so I can show you all how we do it. Nah, I can't find it. I need to have a little book with me that gives me the classes. So they're regarded as adults or an F class, sort of the size, when they get to about 7 years old. Think about a rhino generally lives to about 40, maybe 45, depending on the environment that it's in. Well, there's a red-billed oxpecker on its back, on No Hope's back. So an A class is a brand new calf between 0 and 3 months. And I think a B class is from 3 months to a year. I don't quite know, I just know the sizing of them. But this calf will definitely already have started being weaned by mom. Generally start weaning from like 10 months, but at a year old, definitely. Maybe around 18 months. Okay, so she was born end of June last year, so she's 18 months, so she's definitely in the process of being weaned. So diets, she's in good health still. No Hope, that is, with her condition. I think the light is not doing her any favors in seeing her ribs like that, but if you see above her front legs, on the top of her neck, she's still got quite a lot of muscle there down towards her head, so she's not losing a whole lot of condition. On the hips at the back is a little bit of an indentation, but if you start to see that getting quite indented, then you know that they're starting to lose condition. And it's no surprise at this time of the year that they are starting to lose some condition. It is dry out here. We are in need of rain. Being grazers, droughts and dry periods can affect them quite a lot. You've got to remember that they are a bulk grazer. Which means to keep themselves sustained, they've got to eat quite a lot every day.
Kevin, getting mobile, any updates?
And at this time of the year, they're probably going to be eating around 50%, 50 kilos
Getting mobile, some rhino sightings, one on
of grass.
Lowveld of South Africa, one at Kudu and one at Impala Dam. Okay, copy that. I'm just going to stay
And they do switch to a little bit of browsing when things are getting desperate, when the grass isn't so much there. If they're in summer months and they've got nice lots of green grass that are high in nutrients, and they've packed with goodness as the grasses are growing. Oh, baby's having a rest there, look at that. This little bike is coming straight towards us here. So as the dry season goes on, it gets harder for white rhinos, being a bulk grazer, eating 40 to 60 kilograms of grass a day, it's just not really there to the same levels as it is during the wet season. So they do browse a little bit where they can, but as you can see around, there's not a lot of leaves on the trees either. So it's end of the dry season now, end of October. The rains haven't yet come. We've had, I think, in total 5 moles. So it's no wonder they're starting to lose a little bit of condition, but right now there's nothing alarming about this female rhino. And she's been nursing her calf. So while the calf has been weaned, she's still nursing the calf, providing for her. So she'll also lose condition a little bit then when there isn't a lot of grass around for them. But by now that calf is also grazing, so the pressure's taken off mom a bit. Yes, Di, grazers do turn to browsing when they're desperate, when there's not a lot of grass around. But they still need to graze. They won't be able to get everything they entirely need from browsing. I can feel raindrops. Hey Basil?
Yeah, same here.
There's a couple of raindrops starting. Hopefully it doesn't get too serious, otherwise we kind of know what that means. It's homeward bound for us. Shame, little one's tired. So buffalo will browse quite a bit in the dry season, in droughts as well. Rhinos do, but they're not very good at it. They're not designed for browsing. Buffalo is a lot easier. Their tongue and the shape of their mouth, they can get away with browsing a lot more than a rhino can. A white rhino, that big broad lip for grazing, acting like a lawnmower. They're not going to really be too successful in browsing. So there are a few more raindrops, everybody, just to let you know. It does look like the clouds are also coming in from the north, where it's been a little bit more threatening. And when it comes to rain, we generally don't stay out. At the moment it's fine, but if it starts to get harder than it is, then we need to make a decision, but I'll let you know when we get into that. We're not quite there yet. At least tonight there's no lightning and thunder rolling in above us, which makes things quite scary. How nice would it be to be sitting here and have a leopard walk in? Because we're quiet. That's what happens. People just sit at the water and then the leopards come to them. For the tracks that we had this morning, we're going north on Kudu, which is north of us here, and going north on Seskanpatsate, which is some ways west of us, going up to Seskankrip. The Locksbeck is having a great time just sitting there on the back of No Hope. Not too worried about anything. Oxpeckers are such a regular on a Rhino. There's another diker coming down to the crib. Evening drink. Trying to decide what it wants to do with the Rhino standing guard here. It's brave enough to come in. Female diker. And if No Hope was having a bit of a nap there, and the diker came in, and No Hope saw it kind of at the last minute. Started moving off a little bit.
Lots of two white rhino cows on wolf spots. It's supposed to succeed with one vehicle unlocked.
Look how vigilant this diker is. So it's coming for a drink. When they do come for a drink, it's dangerous. Predators often use water points to their advantage. So it has a drink, it looks up, looks around, make sure nothing's sneaking up on it. Back down, drinking. Very vulnerable in its current state there, heads down, can't really see anything, has to rely on hearing, head up. Look around, nothing's sneaking up on me, okay, we head down, have a drink. You can imagine how vulnerable that diker is right now. It has to rely on its hearing. If there's a leopard creeping up, and we know how silent predators are when they're stalking, these ambush predators getting into place. They use this moment to get into place, and when the diker looks up, they would be dead still. Now they would be wandering closer. So the diker knows this. The diker has to be cautious. And water points are a very fearful area. There's a hypothesis in science, the landscape of fear. Where certain areas have more fear associated to it, and therefore animals have to spend more time being vigilant. And fear can be derived from a number of factors, such as water. Water is where a lot of animals come together. Your head's down, you're focusing on getting water. In some areas you'll have crocodiles, you have other predators, lions and leopards on the banks of rivers or dams. In this case, a little crop. Thick areas, very open areas could also be regarded as fearful. If you're an animal that's a herding species, you've potentially got areas that you know some of your friends get caught, and there's maybe more fear associated to that. So animals are constantly making decisions where they need to walk, where they need to go forage, where they need to go drink. And factored into these decisions is these sort of fearful elements of the environment that surrounds them.
Go back on Gaia.
These rhinos aren't doing too much. They've enjoyed a nice drink. Well, as I say that, she starts moving, kicking up the dust. When the dust is kicked up like that, you can really get a good gauge on how dry it really is. We like those 10, 15 mils of rain that we get, because is that the calf calling? The calf's kind of whining at mom. The calf really wants to have a drink, but mom's becoming less tolerant of suckling. It's time to start eating grass, and the timing of this weaning process is pretty good. I can imagine the rains are going to come surely in the next month, hopefully in the next month, and this calf will then have lots of nice lush green grass to nourish it. It's also a bit big now, so it has to kneel down like that to get a drink. Got to work on the angle. That tells you that it's almost going to be weaned. Mom's still letting it suckle, and it's no wonder. Things are very dry out here. Mom still needs to support this little one. Been a nice evening so far. The raindrops have stopped for the time being. It seems like this weather is moving south from where we are. I did say that yesterday. Typically you would see the storms get caught on the Drakensberg Mountains, go north and then kind of sweep back around and come south. So I wonder if there's more on the horizon for us, but it does seem, well, it seems like it's clearing up a little bit almost. To the northwest there. We've had a lot of activity around the water, just like we were hoping. Cooled off really nicely. Towards us. But what a lovely sight. Little rhino having a suckle, not such a little rhino anymore, it's growing quite quickly really. Suckling. It is at the age where it's getting weaned, so these days are numbered for this little girl. Lion. So there was a lion roaring now, but it sounds like it's to our west here, east, sorry. Maybe like Voldefe, because the maybe a little bit further than Voldefe. Which is the station with the lions on the fence line of Blowbank? Do they say on the eastern or the southern fence line?
I think they said something about that, but
Are there any stations still with the 2 male lions on the fence line of Blowbank? Stations, there was audio of a lion roaring to the northeast of Kudu. Yes, there was a lion roaring. Just trying to find out if anybody is still sitting with the lions. They were called in just now, but nobody's responding to me. So I'm not sure. I thought the lions were found on the southern fence line, but this lion, if it's on a fence line, it's on the eastern fence line of Blowbank. But I feel like that was too far for it to be them. But Basil's saying he thought he heard it was on a hoof butt. These rhinos have been really good to us. I wonder if we carry on, see what else we can find this afternoon. Let's go up along Kudu. Where are we going to go? Kudu Sate, Kudu Pan track, so, sort of follow the Sunslurt, Sankampat to where we had that drag mark yesterday. Maybe a leopard's finished off that carcass. So let's leave these 2 white rhinos and go and have a look there, and then maybe we go from there further east and see if we can find this lion. That would be quite nice. Gareth leaving the 2 white rhinos at Kudu Crypt to themselves. It's an open lock. Should we go up here? Hey? Yeah, but I want to drive in here. It's quite a long road through here, and it stays closer to the Sunslurt, so there might be more chance of something moving around in here for us. Let's see. Oh, look at that light coming through the clouds. It's beautiful. Let's see. Navigate some of these trickier little erosion sections there so we don't lose Basil off the back. There's a giraffe on the other side. Oh, Basil, that would be quite cool if you can get that, but the camera's going to struggle through all the thick stuff. Let's see if we get an opening for that giraffe standing in that light on the other side of the sun slit. So it is quite far. Maybe this is a gap that we can take advantage of. Nah, it's just too thick. You kind of see it between the trees, but to get the camera on, it's a little bit of a different task. Maybe there we go. That's quite nice. It's staring south. Almost like it's watching something, concerned about something. It's quite far in the block. Look at how that giraffe's attention is just focused there. It's seen something, but it's quite a block. Oh, Basil, I think it's worth trying to go back and seeing if we can find what that giraffe is looking at. See that focus on that giraffe, that body language. Oh. Just came out of a bit of a gully here. I think the easiest thing to do here, it's still focused in that other direction, is to go in here and then swing back on the road. Let's see. It's kind of where we heard that line, but it's a bit too close.
You can come with first line, but they were slowly moving south. So you can come to state and you go along first line. Heading south.
Okay, so that spur lane fence line is where the last station come back.
Go ahead.
Just confirm with those lions roaring just now.
Yeah, trying to locate them. They said they were south of Sports Lane, mobile south.
Okay, copy. I wonder, let's try and see this giraffe. So those lions are fence line spur lane, which makes sense from where I heard them roaring. And they were going south. I can't see that giraffe now. So that giraffe is definitely staring at something. I wonder if we go and hopefully our connect lasts. We drive on the river a little bit north and see if we get anything from Kudu Krip. Some animals make alarm calls. One of the sort of most noticeable ones are Impala, vervet monkeys, Kudu, Nyala, bushbuck. They all have similar alarm calls. The Kudu, Nyala and bushbuck, that is, a big bark. Oh, look at the rainbow. That's pretty cool. But giraffe don't have an alarm call. Look at that. The rhinos are still here, they haven't moved. The light is beautiful coming through there. We won't disturb you further. Giraffes stare. When they've seen something, they stare at it. And they don't take their eyes off of it. If they do want to look at something else, they kind of look quickly and then look away, like I'm doing with the camera now. And that's what that giraffe was doing to us. It was looking at us, but only quickly. It wanted to get its eyes. There's a double rainbow now. Let's stop over here. Try and get that double rainbow in. Not easy. Let's It's just the base of the other rainbow starting to come through. But how pretty is that? Hello, Mary. Welcome. We got a double rainbow here. Okay, let's drive in the riverbed a little bit. Can we? I think we can. You good, Basil? And just see if we get anything. Oh, we don't have four-wheel drive. Can we do that? Probably not wise. Oh dear, I forgot that we can't drive in the rivers. We've got a little bit of a technical issue with our four-wheel drive. I was hoping to go up here because the giraffe was on the bank somewhere looking this way, but we can't. Oh, look how beautiful that is with the rainbow. Let's get that shot again in case anybody wants to get us grab a screenshot or something. The rainbow perfectly lined up with the riverbed. How pretty is that? That is quite cool. I might even have to try and get a picture of that. That's where the leopard is, the pot of gold in the drainage line somewhere there with that rainbow. Oh, cool. It's a different kind of photo, but I think it's pretty cool. The pot of gold. Okay, let's keep going. Maybe we'll try and see if we can get those male lions. Because 8 Cake is the next road, but it's quite far from the bank here to where that giraffe was staring. But maybe we just hang around Kudu, because maybe whatever it is on the way there. Because to go for the lions, let's go for the lions. Been a while since I've seen the lions. But a leopard, but lions, but a leopard, but lions. What's the time? 6 o'clock. Beautiful light. Oh. When the light comes through like this, it makes it all dramatic. The skies are dramatic. Because they're dark. Got that rainbow, the setting sun behind us. What's it? Look how beautiful this all is. It is really quite nice. Trying to decide on the quickest route. You know what, there's nobody with the lions, so maybe that's gambling a bit too much. And by the time we get there, they could have moved into thick stuff. If I knew where they were, I would say let's commit to them. But there's nobody with them. When they were left, they were moving. The last guy on the radio was asking about them. They were roaring and moving, so they might cover ground pretty quickly, which means it's no guarantee for us. So I think let's rather spend some time, continue to spend more time where we were, around Kudu Krip and the Sun Slurt, go up to Seskant Krip maybe, and just see, maybe we get a leopard moving about. There were lots of tracks there this morning, so it might be a better bet than racing across to the other side for lions that there's nobody sitting with. I hope that's okay with all of you, but that's what I've decided. There's no guarantee for the lions, because they have been on the move. We've got half an hour left. It's going to take us, I don't know, 15 minutes to get there, and we may not find them. I'd rather spend half an hour searching this area with fresh leopard tracks this morning, squirrels alarm calling, that giraffe staring, the drag mark from yesterday with a carcass. The sky has just opened up. Look at that. But I can see some weather on the horizon, but that is a pretty evening. When I left camp this afternoon, I thought we were going to be in for a horrible afternoon. It was windy and pretty miserable, to be honest. But it's turned out to be quite enjoyable. Although looking south, it's pretty dark. That's where all the weather seems to have gone. It's come from the north, gone south. I can't really see the southern parts of the, well, we wouldn't be able to see the southern parts of the Drakensberg regardless. But where we can see on the Rietspruit Game Reserve, the mountain range is covered. It is dark, and I'm sure it is raining at Basil's home in Aikenhoek. You reckon, Basil? It's raining right where you live. Look how pretty the mountains are in front of us. Sure. It has turned into a beautiful afternoon. The sun has just gone down behind the mountains. I can't wait for the sun to set in that gap. That will be beautiful. Meanwhile, at the moment, it's setting about over there. Okay, this is 8 Cake. Going north there, some rhino scrapes. Looks like somebody got lost. Took a shortcut on what looks like an old road. Unless they were following an animal and trying to get ahead of it. Oh, look at that rain. It is raining by Basil. Basil's home. Look at how it just gets darker and darker when you look further south. That is definitely rain. It just missed us, I reckon. I reckon we were just lucky for this afternoon's drive. But the bush needs it. The bush needs the rain. But that's a really pretty sunset. There was a moment earlier that I thought we were going to have to call drives short when we started to feel the raindrops. Okay, let's go back to Kudu Krip and play around here a little bit. It's a way safer option than risking shooting across the reserve to animals that are not a guarantee for the last half an hour of drive. Maybe there's a lion hanging around here. We know the pride has been split 4-1, and 4 lionesses were seen. What was standing on the bank of the river there, Basil, to the left? There's a bit of a gap. I just saw something standing, almost looking down the river, I think. Unless my eyes are playing tricks. Is it a duiker there? I think it's a duiker standing on the edge. You see what I'm looking at? Yeah, it's a duiker. Oh, just run down into the... It was standing there. It's just run down into the riverbed. Go down a bit. Yeah, it just ran down that bank. Now I forget what I was saying. What was I saying? Before I got distracted with the duiker. See if there's no hope and her baby. They've had their drink and they're now going south away. We had a lovely, I don't know, half an hour spent with them just now. So we'll let them continue. We won't disturb them for much longer. Had a great time with them earlier as they weren't doing too much. They're going off for some grazing. Okay, let's go up here, go to Seskant Crip. There's nobody here. There's duiker. A little, oh, shame, sorry. Sorry, little one. Disturb the duiker. There's another duiker. It's the duiker time of day. They're all coming in for their evening drinks. Let's carry on, don't disturb them as they come to have an afternoon drink, evening drink. That's where we went earlier, but I think we'll continue here. Just a little bit more of a direct route to where we had all the leopard activity this morning. Tracks around Seskant, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a leopard drinking this evening somewhere there. We just got to be there. We'll follow this road around, past the drag mark. Maybe we see something fresh. Looks like No Hope and her calf have walked down the road to Kudu Crip. Chatting about those lions. Sunslot Putts 8, should we do it? Do a loop, Basil. Where Victoria and I were spending time this morning looking for this leopard after I found that drag mark last night, but we couldn't really follow up. It just got super dark with that storm coming in. We found the fresh tracks this morning, found the carcass. Hardly anything left if you've tuned in a little bit later on this afternoon's drive. Left of the carcass. 4 legs, the spinal column. It was a young Impala, one of these yearlings, or 11 months old. So not the biggest Impala. So it's possible if it was 2 leopards came together, or female made the kill and a male came, it would have been finished in one day. Maybe even a female. If I just assumed somebody had driven this road in the morning. It's starting to get dark again. Look at those dark skies. Everything to the east here is black. Well, it's more of a deep blue. Maybe we'll get some rain tonight. That would be super nice. What was that? Did you hear that? Was it a bird?
Sounded like it.
There's an Impala's alarm calling. Let's go. Let's go. Supposed to be a little 2-track across here, and then Kudu putt middle. Impala's alarm calling. Let's shoot across here. Basil, you gotta hold on. We gotta try and get close, get a better bearing. This is the first time I think I've heard Impala's alarm calling on the Rietspruit. Oh, an exciting couple of days. Come on. Let's get there. We gotta get there. Something's been seen. Lion, leopard, cheetah, maybe. The bye-bye hasn't been seen. I instantly just think leopard because of the activity in this area this morning. It was quite fast. I was just trying to get to the next road and then we stop. Also need to try and drive sensibly so Basil doesn't fall off the back. But also if it is a leopard, we don't want to disturb it, but when you want to get there, oh, Ellies have been here creating holes in the ground. I do think it's on the next road, just the distance, that audio. Oh, this is a bit of a bumpy road. You're complaining about Mamba, but what's it? Mamba Krankelpad. This is worse. Yeah. This is not a speedy route towards Impala's alarm calling. Oh. I only just caught that sound. Let's just see if we can hear anything. Let's go. I can't hear any more alarm calling. Just try to get to Kudu middle. That's where, when I looked at the map, I thought they were here somewhere. Let's just listen, Basil. Maybe we caught the tail end of an alarm call. What should we do? Let's go south here and then come back north. There's definitely Impala's alarm calling. And if they're far off the road here, it's pretty thick in here. But I thought it was about this distance. I wanted to get to this road as quick as I could to then stop and listen again, but I can't hear anything. Just keep an eye out for tracks. And also look for Impala that are looking a little bit nervous. There are Impala tracks, but they're not that fresh. Did you hear the Impala's alarm calling? Not. Gone too far off that bearing, and and I haven't seen any Impala. I wonder if it was further across. I need to just have a look. We're too far south. Let's go back up that road. Just switch off and listen again quickly. Up this road. This is the road at the top where we had the carcass from yesterday. We need to find the Impalas, but the next road across is a little two-track that I feel is maybe too far for what I heard the alarm calls, but maybe I heard the end of Impala's alarm calling. There was just one or two and they weren't as loud, and maybe they're in the block between the road that we were on and this one. When you hear alarm calls, you want to get into that area as quick as possible so you can try and get a different bearing. That bearing was almost straight across on that little two-track that we drove, the bumpy one, to get across to here from that side when I checked. The lights are going now. It's this time of day though. This is when the leopards are going to be more relaxed. So this is where we came out and we listened the first time, and this is the bearing. Okay, let's carry on up this road. I can't hear anything. Going up this road is going to take us to where we had the drag mark and all the fresh leopard tracks from this morning. Keep an eye out, Basil, for Impalas. Or the leopard, yeah, if it is a leopard. Looks like there might be some hyena tracks going north on the road. Where did we have that herd of Impala earlier? It was leaving Kudu Crypt going north. So in the block between this road and where we were. Maybe it's a bit too far for it to be them. We're not on the same bearing. I think these Impala are in the thicker stuff. Let's go around to where we were this morning and last night. See if there's anything fresh, and then maybe come down. See, there are leopard tracks going north here. Yeah, there were leopard tracks in that softer soil there coming this way. And it's at the top of this road in the bend where we had the drag mark last night. This is a wild goose chase. So when I first heard those Impalas, I knew they were a little bit of a way away, and you have to try and get there as quick as you can so that there's still alarm call in, and then you can get the next bear and then you can get closer. But we were maybe just a little bit too far and maybe heard the end of it. Okay, so the sunslit's just here. The top of this road is where we had the tracks and the drag mark this last night. Oh, lightning starting again. I think tonight we'll be fine there. Just go a little bit slower. Right on the edge of the sunslit. Diker tracks, I think, quite small. This is where we were walking around last night. Just want to see if there's any fresh tracks here coming out onto this road. It's not worth trying to drive in there. There wasn't enough of that carcass left. We're running out of time, but there's somebody moving around here. Let's go across to Seskant, check the water. We're running out of time for this afternoon's drive. Maybe somebody's having a drink. We also had leopard tracks this morning going north on Seskant Crip, or north towards it. I was hoping that, because that's the closest water to where that kill was, that we would start there and maybe we'd look for tracks and see if somebody came to drink there, catch somebody drinking this morning. We were out at, I don't know, 5:30 this morning. And then we came here. Copy. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that short departure that we made. Don't know what happened there. These storms play with our technology, and our power at home has been down, so we've been running on other power sources, our batteries and solar and generator. The challenges of living remotely. Giraffes and the beautiful mountains behind them and the pink skies. If it's 3, 4, maybe 5. Getting dark. Good luck with work. What a beautiful way to end our day. Sitting with a group of giraffe now, or simply the setting sun and another storm brewing, this time in the easter. But it seems like all of the clouds are moving in that direction, so we may go. It's very still at the moment. All right, everybody. It has been an enjoyable afternoon. It started off a little bit windy and I was unsure about how it would go, but it's cleared up and has turned into quite a nice evening. It's nice to spend some time with No Hope and her calf at the crib and see a few unusual things like that water monitor digging something up near Leopard Dam, and then a little bit of excitement at the end here trying to find the impalas that were alarm calling. But anyway, I hope this has got your week off to a good start, and we'll see some of you tomorrow for a Zoom drive in the morning. Otherwise, we'll catch you again on Wednesday evening. For now, goodbye.